Most men believe that losing their morning erection is simply part of aging. But what if I told you that's not true? The reality is that the quiet disappearance of your strength upon waking has nothing to do with age. It is caused by something far more unexpected and surprisingly much easier to fix. Right now, inside you, your entire erectile system is still intact, still ready, still capable. All you need is to know the exact spots, 3 essential points in your lower body and virility, that, when pressed correctly, can naturally restore your morning erections without pills, without devices, and without shame. I'm a doctor, and I've helped many men in their 60s, 70s, and even beyond regain the strength and blood flow they thought was gone forever. What I'm about to share requires no prescription, just your hands, your breath, and a few minutes of your time. These 3 points already exist in your body, yet most men never stimulate them properly. They are scientifically recognized areas that can enhance circulation, sensitivity, and sexual energy. Once you learn how to awaken them, everything changes. That's why I invite you to stay with me, because in just a moment, I'll guide you step by step through each one and show you how to combine them with 5 simple habits that can multiply your results. The first truth I wish every man over 60 could hear from his doctor is this: your body is not broken, it's only asleep. That morning strength you used to wake up with didn't disappear, it simply went silent. With just a few minutes of focused touch and breathing, you can bring that energy back. Your body isn't failing you, it's only resting. Let me share something I never found in medical books, but discovered by listening closely. Most of the changes we feel after 60 are not signs of damage, but signs of disconnection. In my consultations, I've met strong, proud men who lower their voice and confess, "Doctor, I used to wake up hard as a rock, but now I wake up and feel nothing." I always look them in the eyes and answer, "Nothing is broken. Your body just shut down, and we can wake it up again." The truth is, your virility, your circulation, your sensitivity, and your sexual response are still there. They haven't vanished, they've just been neglected. Your blood vessels still work, but they've slowed down. Your nerves are intact, but they've been ignored. Your body stopped receiving the signals it once understood effortlessly. The most painful part is that many men blame themselves, believing they've failed or lost their masculinity. But nothing could be further from the truth. Think of it this way: if a light switch hasn't been turned on for years, the room stays dark. But that doesn't mean the electricity is gone. It only means no one pressed the switch. The 3 points I'm going to show you are exactly like that light switch. They don't wake up through force or pressure, but through awareness, breathing, and intention. I've seen men shed tears when warmth returns to the lower part of their body, not just out of pleasure, but out of hope. It's proof that life is still active down there, that they're still capable, still whole. This isn't only about erections, it's about reconnecting with the part of yourself that once defined your youth, your confidence, and your masculinity. The first step is learning to listen to your body again. It's been whispering to you this whole time, but you didn't know how to understand it until now. The first point is located just above your pubic bone. It's a sensitive area that most men have never touched with intention, but once they do, everything begins to shift, often faster than they imagine. When stimulated gently, this spot acts like a master switch. It sends signals to the brain, activates the neuromuscular connection, and improves circulation to the deepest tissues. When you focus your attention there, you don't just feel tingling or warmth, you feel something awakening inside you. Don't force it, just breathe. Leave your fingers there for a few minutes and allow your body to do what it already knows how to do: reactivate, reconnect, respond. The second point is located between your anus and your scrotum. In Eastern medicine, this area is known as CB1. In most Western medical texts, It doesn't even have a name, but it's far more important than you think. It works like a valve, holding or releasing energy depending on tension. When you sit gently on a rolled towel or a soft surface without forcing anything and take deep breaths, this zone starts to loosen. The pressure melts away, and the blood that had been stagnant for years begins to flow again. Nerves wake up, sensitivity slowly returns, not all at once, but enough to give you back hope. No medicines, no machines, just you, your breath, and a few calm minutes. At first, it may feel strange, but the results outweigh any initial discomfort. And once you begin, you'll wonder why no one ever taught you this before. I remember a man who wrote to me weeks after starting this simple exercise. He said, "I sat, I breathed, and this morning I finally felt like myself again." The third point is even more unexpected. It's not in your penis, not even close. It's located along the length of your inner thigh. That soft hidden area is actually a vital highway for blood flow. Running along the line where your thigh meets your torso is a powerful circulation pathway, home to the femoral artery and a network of nerves and vessels that feed your sexual organs. When that area becomes tight or blocked, your body stops receiving what it needs. If you lie down and gently run your fingertips from where your thigh joins your torso downward, you'll notice points of tension or sensitivity. Pause there, breathe, and apply gentle pressure for a few seconds. Over time, this releases what was locked up, and most importantly, it gives you control. You no longer wait for something external to work. You're the one taking action, and that action itself is medicine. This transforms something deep, not only in your body, but also in your identity. Many men say that after just a few days, they feel more energy in their legs, deeper rest at night, and a sense of vitality returning. Even a renewed mental clarity begins to emerge. It's as if the entire lower system of the body wakes up, not just your virility. What's truly powerful about these 3 points is not their physical location, but what they represent. They symbolize a return home, a chance to feel whole again, to recognize yourself once more. Often, when men hear me explain this for the first time, I notice a mix of doubt and curiosity in their eyes. They raise an eyebrow, as if still deciding whether what I'm saying sounds too good to be true. And I understand, it's natural. They've heard too many empty promises, seen countless advertisements for miracle pills, and have resigned themselves to living with less energy, less desire, and less response. But what moves me deeply is watching their faces change the moment they begin to notice the first signs of life returning. Sometimes it's a tingling, sometimes a stronger morning pulse, or a sensation they thought was gone suddenly coming back. That's when a new kind of confidence is born, not because I say so, but because their own body confirms it by responding. What many men don't realize is that their pelvic muscles are deeply connected to their erectile ability. And I'm not only referring to the external muscles, but to the entire internal network of support, blood supply, and neurological control. When these muscles weaken, it's not only strength that fades, sensitivity dulls, and most importantly, the sense of control weakens. This is why so many men with weakness in this area don't just face dysfunction, they also experience urine leakage, lower back fatigue, or discomfort when sitting. The good news is that these muscles can be retrained. You don't need a gym, and you don't need special machines. All you need is awareness and consistency. Simple exercises, guided breathing, and the right touch can do more for your manhood than any expensive supplement. One practice I teach involves a 3-phase breathing sequence. The first phase is done lying calmly, with both hands placed on your lower abdomen. The breath should descend into this area, not stay trapped in your chest. You should feel that region gently expanding. The second phase is to carefully contract the pelvic floor muscles as you exhale, as if trying to stop the flow of urine. The third phase is to hold that contraction for 3 seconds, keeping your full attention fixed there. Just 5 minutes of this practice each day can awaken a neuromuscular network that may have been dormant for years. And once that network reactivates, the transformations begin. Your posture changes, your walk feels different, and of course, your sexual response improves. Many men have confessed to me that after just 2 weeks of this exercise, not only did they regain their morning erections, but they also started sleeping better, feeling more confident, and even opening deeper, more intimate conversations with their partners. Because when you restore a part of yourself you thought was lost, something in your spirit rises too. Of course, it's not just about exercises or breathing. What you put into your body every day, your food, also determines how much you can heal and reactivate. And this is where many men fail without realizing it. They eat the same way they always did, not noticing that with age, metabolism shifts, nutritional needs change, and sensitivity to certain foods increases. One of the silent enemies of male health after 60 is chronic inflammation. It doesn't always show, it doesn't always hurt, but it hides in the joints, the blood vessels, and even in intimate tissues. This inflammation acts like a blocker. It prevents proper blood flow, interferes with nerve signaling, and slows down the body's natural regeneration. That's why I emphasize anti-inflammatory nutrition so much. It doesn't have to be complicated. It only requires conscious choices. Replace margarine with olive oil. Swap processed meats for oily fish. Trade white bread for whole oats. And most importantly, include foods that boost nitric oxide production, the natural gas that dilates blood vessels and allows better circulation throughout the body, including to the area that matters most to you. And this isn't tradition, it's science. Studies have shown that men who regularly consume these foods experience noticeable improvements in blood flow. These foods not only improve blood flow, but also support blood pressure and sexual performance without the need for medication. Of course, it's not enough to eat something once and expect miracles. As I always say, the body responds to what you do every day, not what you do once in a while. That's why the key is routine. A simple routine, well designed, adapted to your age and reality, and most importantly, sustained by self-love. If you've been feeling disconnected, tired, or less of a man lately, I want you to know that this does not define you. What defines you is what you choose to do about it. You can resign yourself or you can begin. And beginning doesn't mean doing everything perfectly on day one. It means showing yourself that you are still willing to take care of yourself, to feel alive, to reconnect with the strength that has always lived within you. What moves me most in this work is not only seeing how bodies change, but how expressions change. There's something about the way a man carries himself after weeks of reconnecting with his body, something in his eyes, in his voice, that cannot be faked. It's not just pride, it's presence. It's the feeling of regaining something you thought was lost, control. Many men ask me at first, "Doctor, what if it's already too late for me?" And I always answer the same way. The body doesn't run on a clock, it runs on memory. When you send it clear signals, when you touch it with awareness and intention, it begins to remember, sometimes faster than you would ever expect. The key is not in chasing instant results, but in building a new relationship with yourself. This activation routine is not just about improving erectile function, it's about restoring full vitality. Because when your blood flows better, your digestion improves, your mind clears, you sleep more deeply, and you wake up feeling lighter. Everything is interconnected. And here's a crucial point that many men overlook: stress. Stress is one of the silent killers of manhood. When you live in constant anxiety, your body shifts into defense mode. Blood vessels tighten, hormone production slows, desire is suppressed, and all of this happens quietly without you even realizing it. That's why creating moments of pause, deep breathing, and conscious contact isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. I always recommend nightly rituals that include gentle touch. Nothing complicated is needed. Simply warm your hands, breathe, and lightly trace the lower abdomen, inner thighs, and perineum. This isn't about stimulation, it's about reconnection, about telling your body, I'm here, I'm listening, I care. It may seem small, but over time that attention grows into confidence, and that confidence into response. I remember a man who wrote to me from Colombia. He told me he had spent years feeling disconnected, as if his body no longer belonged to him. He began practicing the exercises, pressure points, breathing, and nutritional habits. Within a few weeks, not only had his morning erections returned, but his wife told him something that changed his life. It's been a long time since I've seen that light in your eyes. And she wasn't referring to sex. She was talking about presence, about the life that returns when you truly care for yourself. Because yes, taking care of your body also means taking care of your relationships, your mood, and your self-esteem. I have seen older men begin to speak with more confidence, participate more actively in family life, laugh more. Not because of a pill, but because of a consistent practice that restores control. But I don't want you to think this will all be immediate or perfect. There will be days when you feel tired, frustrated, or unmotivated. That's normal. It's part of the process. What matters is that you pause and do it anyway, even if it's just a little, even if it's only breathing or a minute of massage. Your body doesn't need perfection. It needs consistency. Every small step adds up. Every breath counts. Now, is there something else I want to tell you before we bring everything together? Yes. You are not alone. You are not the only one who has felt shame, fear, or frustration about the changes in your body. What changes everything is the moment you decide to speak about it, to act, to move, to touch, to breathe, and to keep going. That is what makes you strong. And if you've made it this far with me, it tells me that you're ready, that you're not looking for quick fixes, but for something real, deep, and lasting. Something you can do with your own hands, in your own home, without depending on anyone else. What comes next is the way to turn all of this into a life ritual. This isn't about an isolated technique, but about a commitment to yourself. A commitment that begins with the body, but also transforms the soul. Now that you know the key points, the daily habits, and the power you already hold in your own hands, the only thing left is to weave it into your everyday life. And this doesn't mean doing everything perfectly from day one. It's about creating a small space each day just for you. A moment to remind yourself that you are still strong, that your body is worthy of care, and that your masculine energy is still alive within you. You can start tonight. Take a deep breath. Place your hands over the areas you've already learned about, and take a few minutes simply to feel. There is no pressure, no urgency, just you with yourself. Maybe you'll notice warmth, tingling, or maybe nothing at all yet. That's perfectly fine. What matters is your presence, your choice to be there, and that alone already changes things. Over time, this practice becomes something greater, a new language between you and your body, a bridge between your mind and your vitality. And that, my dear reader, is something many men never discover, that their masculinity is not lost, but waiting to be recognized again with respect, patience, and action. I want you to carry this with you. You are not broken, you are not alone, and it is never too late to feel connected, present, and strong once again. Every body ages, but not every body fades. Some, like yours, can learn to reignite with just a little care, knowledge, and willpower. What you have learned here is not just a technique, it is an invitation to remember who you are, a complete man, capable, worthy of feeling, of enjoying, of fully living each stage of his life. If you choose to take this as your new beginning, I will feel honored to have been part of your journey. Because in the end, what matters most is not what happens in your body, but what you decide to do with it. And finally, as I always tell my patients, before starting any new practice, even natural ones, listen to your body and consult with your trusted doctor if you have questions or specific conditions. The goal is to heal, not to take unnecessary risks. Thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this path. I am certain that if you stay committed, this will only be the first of many positive transformations yet to come.